With the Middle East now inflamed with hatred for America, an important lesson has been learned, or relearned, or proven again. Going all the way back to the days of the Cold War, leftists and constitutionalists have clashed over what approach America should take to those in the world who don't like us. We thought the issue had been settled with the end of the Cold War, when the strength, the muscle flexing of Ronald Reagan, so sharply contrasted with years of containment and appeasement and détente, resulted in exactly what the 40th president promised, relegating communism to the ash heap of history. But history has proven, if nothing else, that history repeats itself. And so we debate again whether to be mean or nice to those who do not wish us well. This is most perfectly manifest in the apology issued by our embassy in Egypt before the attacks, in which we condemn those, including the producer of an obscure, rarely viewed video insulting to Islam, who would, quote, hurt the religious feelings of Muslims. Is this our policy, to avoid ever hurting anyone's feelings? We live in a world of hurt. And unlike many in the Muslim world, we actually believe in and protect to the death the right of free speech. It essentially comes down to this: do we want to be liked or respected? And what, after all, is the purpose of our foreign policy if not to protect our own interests, many of which will lead to common ground with other nations, many of which won't? For lo, those many years of war in the Middle East, 20 years combined in Iraq and Afghanistan, the last president was bombarded with withering criticism on his aggressive stance after 9/11. But we had no more successful terrorist attacks for the remainder of his administration. And yet our current chief executive decided to be a far kinder, gentler president when it comes to our enemies, on the theory that sugar gets you more than vinegar, that being nice and talking in reasonable terms to our adversaries in the Middle East, groups like the Muslim Brotherhood and leaders like Iranian President Ahmadinejad, will get us much further than demonstrations of strength. The last week provided proof certain, again, that this strategy does not work. With vicious, hate-filled attacks on American targets in more than 20 countries, most all of the people in those mobs who were interviewed said American olive branches have made no difference to them. They don't care what American president is in power. Fact is, credible polling has revealed that the Middle East is just as hostile towards America, if not more, than they were during the previous administration. The change of presidents and change of strategy, we now know once again for certain, does not make our enemies like us more. This fact must now animate our foreign policy again. We can argue over whether a video caused this uprising, but only a fool could believe it was a coincidence that these attacks came on the anniversary of 9/11. This forces you and me to rethink the role we should be playing in this world. Can we really export constitutional democracy to places like Iraq, where there may be no demand for it, or where the long march of history has demonstrated, as in Afghanistan, that it's simply impossible? For all the hopeful talk of an Arab Spring that would unleash the pent-up democratic demands of unstable nations, we have received even more evidence that anarchistic rebellion hardly leads to real democracy and rule of law. We ignore this reality at our own grave peril.